All right, hello everyone. My name is Jordan Hansen. I'm here with Council Candidate Shaun Davis.
Hello.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're winging this whole thing. We didn't prep it at all, just like me and Councilman Bathke. So it's going to be 100% raw and real, and we're just going to go from there and answer questions and talk and go from there. So why don't you tell everyone about yourself?
I'm Shaun Davis. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I moved here about 23 years ago to go to play college football at Dakota Wesleyan. I have 3 children here in town. I have 4 actually. One's in college at SDSU. I have a 16-year-old who's in show choir at Mitchell High School, and then a 6th grader and a 2nd grader. I enjoy sports. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy hanging out outside in the hot sun, and I also like playing in the snow sometimes too as well. I like the snow.
I do not like the snow.
There was not much snow where I was a kid, so I kind of enjoy the snow. It's very peaceful for me. And I'm here today talking to Jordan.
So let's talk about, let's go over the things that we talked about at the forum, some of those things. So do you remember any of the questions? Anything you want to say different? It's a lot different when you have unlimited time versus 2 minutes.
I think that most of the questions were pretty... The one that really stuck out to me was your relationship with the other council members.
Right.
That was kind of my biggest question, because I started out like, whoa, that's a can of worms.
Yeah, no, you handled it well. Everyone handled it well.
You have to really watch what you're going to say, because you don't want to put add any fuel to the fire that's already there.
For sure. Yep.
And basically my take on that is that we all just need to be completely professional with each other. We should be taking digs at each other. We shouldn't be blasting one another. It's a business. And in a business, you have to have people that work and together and are very professional.
Yep.
I don't have to like you. I don't have to go hang out with you at the bar. I don't have to go to your kid's birthday party. But while we're in the building together, so in that council chambers, we have to be professional. Right. And we shouldn't be yelling and screaming at each other across the table.
Set aside personal differences and do what's right for the people.
That's it. Because that's what you're there for. You're not there for yourself. You're there for others.
Yep, exactly. Service. What else? Let's talk about the Corn Palace and then the indoor sports facility, because those are like the 2 biggest things I've been hearing lately.
Right. So the Corn Palace, I think the Corn Palace, we should utilize it for what it is. Okay. I love the seat upgrade. That was a very great thing to do. Maybe would like to see a little more events in there throughout the summertime, because the summer is where you can utilize some of that for like youth sports, like maybe a wrestling tournament in the summertime or basketball tournaments. We have the facilities, so why not use them for that?
Right.
The youth sports facility, I think, will be good. I know a lot of people don't want it to have basketball courts in it because they feel like we have enough basketball courts around, but which I understand. I think indoor turf, we're eliminating. If we do a full indoor turf, we're limiting the amount of events we could have in there.
Right.
And I don't think you're going to make money completely and to make it a profitable business if you just do turf. It would have to be a combination of both and have other things, maybe pickleball courts, volleyball, basketball, soccer, and then football, youth football.
So what is the goal? Is it to host events? Is it to keep people here? Is it to move people here? Is it to attract people here? Or is it to just
I think it's a combination of all those things, because, in order for me to move to stay here, for me, I was attracted to Mitchell, because it's peaceful, it's quiet. I don't hear sirens every day. The people are nice. My kids are safe. Right. They can go from point A to point B, and I'm not too worried about their safety or their well-being while I'm here. That was one of the main reasons I stayed. And the cost of living is cheaper than California.
For sure.
By far.
Yeah.
And I despise traffic. I drove every day an hour to school in high school to school, and I cannot stand traffic. And I was in a manual transmission car driving to school. And it took me hour and a half to drive 28 miles, which was a pain in the butt. So anyway, I think that we need to do more of, we do a really good job at having those First Friday events that keeps people in, because when I work the carnival week, I see a lot of people when I'm at Mercantile out front helping them out. I see a lot of people that come from out of state that are, this is a pretty cool event, and hopefully you can get those few people that say, this is a cool event. Maybe I might stay around for a little bit longer, enjoy the event, and then maybe in the future they might come back and decide to live here. But the key is the people.
Yeah, the busiest I ever see our town is like on event days.
Yeah.
Like, there's times where I'm like, what the heck is going on in town?
Right.
It's just it's very different to see than like a Tuesday afternoon. It's just,
It is. I mean, I remember I was here with just like something was happening on a Friday night. It was like something at the Corn Palace. And I was like, what is going on at the Corn Palace?
like Hoop City Classic or something like that.
I don't even know what it was, but I literally got out of my car and walked to the Corn Palace to find out what it was because I wanted to know.
Really?
Because I didn't know what was going on.
You know, a crowd attracts a crowd, they say.
And they do, you know. And just like we were talking about earlier before this started, the Minnesota Twins being in town this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
That's Saturday from 10 to noon at Cadwell, and it's a nice event for kids, and it's free.
Really?
It doesn't cost any kids any money.
So the Minnesota Twins baseball team is.
I don't know if it's players, and maybe I think it's former players and some of the coaching staff that come down and they run like a baseball clinic.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's free to the public. So
nice. Okay, so let's talk about what would you say is the biggest goal you would have in 3 years? Let's say you only ran for one term. I don't know what you're going to run for, but if you had 3 years, what would you want to accomplish?
I think for me is I really want to get more responsible as a unit of financing with the finances.
Yep.
Finances need to get under control, and we need to start cutting costs and spending money in things that we don't need to spend money in, and putting that focus on other places, you know, such as like the indoor facility, you know, or maybe something into like doing something for the community youth. I think our youth is where we need to focus on, and that would be my focus is the youth and how we can keep our youth engaged in our community and continue to keep them there. And I think you mentioned something at the forum when you were talking in your story about how you went to the school at Longfellow and they squirted you with paint.
Yeah.
Made you feel like a celebrity.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that too when it comes to walking around town when the kids know me because I coach them.
Yep.
But I think that as a council member, you should go into a school and maybe read a book.
Right. I've done that a lot. I've read a lot of books of kids. I never take videos or pictures of that because I don't want to take pictures of other kids.
And you don't
people's
need
kids.
to, but I think it's something that we should do. And that's one of my other goals is to interact more with the community and get involved in different events and do different things so that my face is seen and known as I'm here for the people, I'm serving the people, and I'm going to participate in the people's events that are going on.
As a representative. I like that how Pat said that the other day, a representative of the people rather than a leader. I think that's good. Make it really good interwoven. I'm going to go check the camera just to make sure everything's still recording. But what do you think of housing? Let's talk about housing.
The housing market is getting better. There's more available places. I believe that there's more things popping up.
Yep.
But the problem with housing is that you still have families that can't afford housing.
Yep.
You know, the housing market right now, I think average is probably about $1,400, $1,500 for a 3-bedroom house in Mitchell to rent. Apartments are anywhere from $900 to $1,500, depending on how nice of a place you're getting. What jobs are paying that? You know, that's like $2,500 to live for a family for one house. You know, I know in my house right now, it's not too bad because I got in pretty cheap, but it's still expensive. Grocery prices went up, you know. So your normal income that was able to afford the houses 5 years ago is not the same as it is now.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I try to break it down really simply. And maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But like they always say we need workforce housing. So they always focused on the housing. I always think we need to focus on the workforce.
Yes, the workforce is more important because if you don't have a job that can't pay for the house, and you can't
pay
go
for
rent
anything.
the house. You can't go rent the house. You know,
and that's what I tell everyone is people don't move to a place for a cheap house. They move to a place for a
job.
For a job, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I'm coming here for a job. You know, I stayed because of job. I made good money in the jobs that I was here. So and my money went a long way. My money still goes a lot further than I thought I was living in another place. You know,
right.
And so I think that having those jobs available, what can we do to bring in better jobs, higher paying jobs? You know, $20 an hour is nothing now.
No, it's not.
You know, you got to make almost 30 plus in order to make a living around here. And both parents have to work nowadays where, you know, sometimes, especially when I was growing up a kid, my mom didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked, you know, and he made enough to take care of the whole entire household. So
I'm trying to get there. My wife doesn't like the idea of it, but it sounds nice. You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah. You know, it does. It does. It does sound nice. How did you feel about the term limit conversation? I
of course I tell everyone this. Whenever you're on stage, you always get off stage and you think, I wish I wouldn't have said this, and I wish I would have said something else instead. And that's just how it is. No matter what, anytime I've ever been on stage, and I've been on a lot of them, I think I could have done better, but I always try to articulate, like, it's not about, especially like any law or ordinance or anything, rules that get made should not be for today, it should be forever, and you think about the future. You know what I mean? So I don't want to talk about whatever's going on today, but I am a firm believer in term limits from the bottom to the top, from local to national. And I've been telling people, pick your least favorite president and ask if they should run forever. You know what I mean? And I like to use that for whatever. And I was telling this with Mike the other day, is like any company, like when they're about ready to step down and people get older, it's just a natural part of life. You need to train and be a mentor to someone else and then get them handed off to the next generation. If you just kind of keep running and running and running and running, you're going to skip a generation. And that's not good for anyone. And if people don't feel like their voices are heard, they're going to go somewhere where they do.
Right. And experience is not always good.
No.
I coach. And so I'm dealing with kids who are experienced and kids who are not experienced. The kids who are not experienced are soaking up a lot of my feedback, and a lot of my constructive criticism, and then a lot of my coaching, where a kid that's really good, he feels like he doesn't need that all the time.
Yeah.
And
I've been to jobs where if you have experience, they don't want to hire you because you're not coachable and trainable, and you're stuck in your ways.
You're stuck in your ways, yeah. And so I think that term limits is a really good idea, and I think we should have them. They're on every level of government, so they should be here.
And the argument that you're not going to get rid of someone that's great, well, just because you get elected doesn't mean you're great at the job. It means you're great at campaigning, or you're great at talking to people. But it's a completely different deal.
But what rubric are we using to say that a person is great?
Well,
there is none.
Right.
There is no rubric.
It is subjective to everyone.
Yes.
Some people think I'm doing great. Some people think I'm doing terrible.
Facts. It's
for everything.
It's literally a way that you as an individual can determine yourself. I'm voting for you because I think you're doing good. But there is no guideline, no rubric. We're not getting evaluated for our job every day. You're not getting evaluated as a council member of what your performance is, what you're voting on. Are you making the right choices? There's no rubric. So therefore, I think term limits is good, because then we get somebody new in there, and we don't have the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
I'll tell a story. I remember the first time I ever voted, and the first person I ever voted for was John Thune. And I had no idea who John Thune was. And I had no clue, but I had just seen him so much that I'm like, I'm going to go vote for Thune. There's not a chance in heck I could tell you who the other guy was, but it was because I knew the name.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I use this, some people hate this analogy, but if you go to the store and you choose, there's Heinz ketchup and another kind of ketchup. I don't know what you buy for ketchup, but I'm guessing it's Heinz. But you're going to go with what you always go with. Whatever ketchup's in your fridge today is probably what was in your fridge 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or what your parents bought.
You want to know something really funny?
What?
There is no ketchup in my house.
Oh, really?
We do not eat ketchup. Not one person in my house.
You just lost
ketchup. I'm sorry. We don't eat ketchup. I've never ate ketchup.
Really?
So since I've never eaten it, my kids don't eat it because I don't buy it.
See, and that's exactly what happened. Like it gets passed down. Isn't that interesting?
But now ranch.
Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it has to be a certain ranch, because the kids eat the Hidden Valley Ranch, and they will not eat anything else but that. And if it's different ranch, or I got it cheaper, they're like, no, we're not eating
But
that.
it's not because it's the best ranch in the world. It's because it's the best they've ever had, and that's what they're used to, right? And maybe it is the best in the world. I'm not saying anything. Don't sue me, Hidden Valley. But it's interesting how your brain works. You know what I mean? Some people are Chevy forever. Some people are whatever forever.
Ford forever, yeah.
But it's not that is the best vehicle they could ever experience. It's just they like what they got, and they never change.
Right, yeah.
Same for socks.
Yeah.
Most people have the same brand of socks forever.
I wear the same socks all the time.
See, that's what I mean.
Funny story about socks. Yeah. I recycle them once every 3 months.
Really?
Yes. So every 3 months I buy new socks.
What do you do with the old ones?
Throw them away.
Really?
Yep.
I wish you could
I don't want to digress.
I was thinking about making a reverse printer. When you're done with paper, if you put it in there, it took the ink off, and you can use the paper again. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be cool. Yeah, you'd create that. You'd be really rich too.
Yeah. Okay, so what else haven't we covered? I mean, I think lake. Let's talk about the lake.
The lake is, last year was a really, or 2 years ago was a really big issue.
Yep.
The lake, I think that now that it's finally moving forward, I think that's good for people because that's what people wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
And so here's the deal. No matter what my view was on it, the people voted for what they wanted, and I'm just going to support that.
Right.
And I will support what the people vote for.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. Pretty
That's
simple, right?
That is their job, as a councilman.
You know, and good news, you may not know it, but like I was telling Councilman Bathke yesterday, is we got a list of all the things that we need to do, and it's got like a chronological order of all the things that are going to happen and what's going to happen at the same time, like concurrently for reviews and studies and blah, 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 and permits. So we do have like an end date tentatively right now, and then that'll get released on my Facebook page and probably on the city page as well. So people can see the light at the end of the tunnel and know we're not going to have any other roadblocks. I'm super happy for it to get done. I think it's pretty obvious to tell I was not a big fan of the project. What I am a big fan of is we don't have to argue about if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. It's going to get done, and then we can decide. And I'm fine eating crow afterwards if I was wrong. I'm just happy to move on with that.
I think it is because it was a big dividing piece for our community.
Sure.
And our community needs to come together, but that lake did divide a little bit of us.
I agree. And when I was running, not to interrupt, but I remember I said, I don't have any big plans I want to do. I just want to find all the things that are dividing us and making people mad, and like the simple things that I hear over and over, and I want to fix them. That's the lake. I'm glad I didn't have to be a part of that, and it's done. The seats in the Corn Palace, that's done. The roof at the ice arena, that's done. We're looking out the window, we can see the roof of the rec. That had a damage, and we fixed that. So just all these little things, you know what I mean? And I think when people's tempers get calmed down and all the little stuff and they feel heard, I think that general energy, that good energy, can help go into the community.
I would agree with that statement. It's good to get everybody calm and get some of the things. And plus, you're not only fixating on one person's ideas, you're doing multiple people's ideas and different things to come together.
Yep.
I think the ice arena, I sit on the Park and Rec board, so we talked about that quite a bit. So I'm glad that's getting done because they need it done, and they're a really good group for our community.
Yep. And that building's been, I don't want to say neglected, but when you do your budget, you can only put your stuff in so many places at once. And like that one had just always been like, oh man, let's try to fix it. So this year we had a huge capital expense, but at least we don't have to talk about it for a long time. Yeah, I mean,
you don't like talking about that stuff, do you?
I like solving problems. You know what I mean? Like we've been, same for the fire station. We can talk about that. But I was told, like when we were talking about this, they had been discussing this since 2002, since I was in 8th grade.
Yes.
Now I am almost 40 and we're finally getting it done. So it's just interesting.
And I'm glad we are, because it's a piece our community needs, because the only thing between life and death when you're dealing with an emergency is time,
Exactly.
And so I'm glad that they have that access. They'll have that access out there to better serve our community. And I think it's great. I do think that maybe one day we can get a volunteer fire department back, because I think that there's people in the community that would love to serve.
There are a lot of those people that reached out when we were talking about that.
And I really believe that would help the local firefighters. It would take some pressure off their backs. I know they just hired a bunch of people, which is fantastic because we need more people. But you can never run out of bodies on a scene.
Oh man,
you can always use an extra help, an extra hand. When you go into the fire, you're in and out of a fire. Twice. I think that most departments allow you to go inside, and your tank lasts 45 minutes. So let's say you're probably in there for about 30 to 35 minutes. If you're in pretty good shape. You're an hour inside of a firefighting. You come out. Then you got to roll holes and you got to clean up.
After I was elected, I went and hung out with the firemen, and they put me in all the gear, and it's awful. I don't know how those guys do it. And then they put a face mask on you where you breathe oxygen, and it's like breathing through like a straw, like a large straw. You don't get all your oxygen, so that's already terrible. And then they put a Bluetooth on you, and you can barely hear the other guy because it's so loud. All you hear is the oxygen. And then they took a black mask and put it over my face, so I couldn't see anything. And then they made me go into this. They let me go into this room and get this little dummy called Rescue Randy. And he weighs like 160 pounds, which who weighs 160 pounds today? Dead weight, dude. Me and another guy, I could barely handle it. And it was like 10 feet there and 10 feet back.
Yeah,
dude,
it's hard. It's hard work. They do hard work.
One of the most it was tough.
Yeah,
it was very hard.
Yeah, but again, though, that's why I feel like they're doing a fantastic job. They just, it'd be nice to give them a little extra help sometimes, so that they don't have to, source people from other communities to come help our community.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about something dicey. Prison. What'd you think of that? No edits either.
So here's the deal. Like I don't know if I was for it or against it. I mean, it would have brought a lot of jobs into town.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people that lived out in the area where the prison was going to be built, they don't want to buy their homes, and it's rightfully so. I don't want a prison by my home, and I think that when we talk about prison, we think about bad things, but it's not necessarily bad things all the time. There were some positives. It would have brought jobs.
Yep.
It would have brought more people. It would have brought more money into the community. Cons, now you have a prison there, but that high paying job piece that we've been waiting for, that could have gave us some of those high paying jobs, especially if it's a state run institution, because the state pays pretty decent for South Dakota. It's one of the higher paying gigs you can get here. So, I mean, I went, like I said, not for it, not against it. I see both sides, but it's something that, would have been good for our community. I don't think it would have hurt it as much as people thought it would have hurt.
Yeah, you never know.
But you don't know. You don't know. I know that in Arizona, where my cousin lives at, he lives about 20 miles from the prison there, the state prison, and there's signs everywhere: don't pick up hitchhikers. So I mean, and he hasn't seen any hasn't seen anything where he lives at, but I know that some people in the new development that he lives in were not too happy about it, and it was 20 miles away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, since we talked about business and jobs, what do you think about the council's role of business and jobs, and what do you think about our current way of doing it?
No comment.
Oh, come on.
Absolutely no comment on that action.
Would you be in favor, and I'm going to press you, would you have been in favor of hiring a retail recruitment?
No.
Really? Why?
Because we have an entity that's supposed to be doing that already.
Okay.
So that's all I'm going to say.
So you'd be in favor of them doing it?
That's their job, right? They should be doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as a city, the funding is getting placed there. That is them. So why would I pay double to get the job done?
That's a fair point. I don't disagree with that.
So, I mean, and I'm not trying to...
Again, I like to solve problems.
So if you're going to solve that problem, here you're going to know. If we're going to feed one entity, the one entity needs to have checks and balances. Like, hey, well, this is what we need to do. We need to see some improvement.
Right.
If not, then we can remove some of that and then put it towards that outside source to come do it.
Right.
But why have both?
That's a fair point. I can't argue with that.
I mean, I like to solve problems as well, And
sometimes you have to make a hard decision.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And it's not nothing against any of the people. It's just the reality of the situation. What we need to do in order for us to be successful as a community.
What else do you think we need to do to become successful? What would you do?
What would I do? I would
magic wand for a day.
I would sure cater to our youth.
Okay.
I would be stricter in the way we discipline our youth and when they mess up in the community. I would also provide activities for them to do because I think a lot of the things is that they don't have anything to do.
For sure.
So I would provide activities. Why can't we have the Arts in the Park Kids is great, fantastic event. The baseball tomorrow will be a great event for kids, but why not? We can do, I do a hydrant party. So I invite the fire department up, we hook up with the hydrant, we have a party with the water.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and I probably should get that figured out because they have one of the things.
Yes.
I think there's and
it's so much fun though,
The kids love it.
Yes.
And they want free activities.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And it needs to be free activities,
Yep.
I mean,
we got to flush out hydrants anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a way to connect with the community. I know Sioux Falls, they hook up to different ones about 4 or 5 times throughout the summer. Just to have fun with the kids, and it's a way for the city to connect. And I think we need to reach our youth first because they're the most important tools. You might service a kid, that kid that sprayed you with paint, he might remember you when he's performing open surgery, heart surgery on you one day. You never know.
Oh God, I got the
I'm just saying.
I'm just blasted.
I'm just saying, no, I think that's what I would start at.
Here, I'll tell you're right. Because one thing I do, and I do a lot of stuff nobody will ever know, but one thing I do that most people probably know is I fill out little cards that says, welcome to Mitchell, welcome to the world. I want to be the first person to ever welcome you to anything, something along those lines. And I give them to the hospital, Avera, so when someone has a baby, it's in their little to-go home bag.
That's cool.
So it's like, they always have a card from the mayor, first thing ever. And the reason I do that is because my mom showed me a little card that from Bud Williams from 1987. He had a little business card that said, "Welcome to Mitchell from Mayor Bud." And it's like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So something he did 38 years ago is making impact still today.
Yeah.
So I want the same thing in the future.
Right.
You just never know.
Yeah. You never
I don't know who's going to hold those cards, but it's so
Exactly.
cool to see people send me a picture like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much," or I'll get a Snapchat from a buddy that had a baby. And you have to make an impact on people, or else it's
right. And the best way to start is with the kids. You know, we gotta impact them somehow, some way.
So the one thing I always think about, like, so we do Arts in the Park. That's cool, but it's 2 to 3 days a year. Like,
Yeah, but
and some people are like, there's plenty to do. You got the rec center, you got the movie theater, you got the bowling alley. Dude, when you have a wild kid or multiple of them, 365 days a year, like, they need constant different things because you can only do the same thing so often before they just are tired.
Right. I mean, I have one kid doesn't go to the rec. One kid wants to go to the rec all day. The little one, he kind of is stay home, or he wants to go to the rec too and go swimming and hang out there and play on the playground, which is really cool. The new thing that they just got there. But I do agree with you. You can only do these things so much before you need to do something else.
Right.
And so I would like to continue to do stuff in town to keep my money in town versus having to go to Sioux Falls to do stuff, or to Omaha or Minneapolis or whatever it is I might travel to.
One of the most impactful things someone ever told me is Mitchell's #1 export is dollars, because they go other places for entertainment.
It's true.
Like, that's just stuck in my head forever.
It's true.
And I don't know how you stop that. I mean, we'll never be Sioux Falls. We'll never be Omaha. We'll never be like that. But what can we do, right?
Yeah, that's the question, and that's the problem we need to solve. I know for me, I go to Sioux Falls and I spend thousands of dollars on sports out there. You know,
You son of a gun.
I mean, well, my kid, there's not enough kids that are willing to do the things that I would like to do here.
Right.
You know, and so I have to take my kid to Sioux Falls in order for him to get.
Do you think if we had an indoor sports facility, you would attract some of those kids from other towns?
Yes. But again, those smaller towns, they're not sure about it, you know? And that's the thing, you know, parents are really picky on who's coaching their kids these days.
For sure, yeah.
They're really picky on what teams their kids are playing for and how many sports, because everything costs so much, you know? So I think we might attract a little more, but we'll have to start putting on some events to attract some of those kids into town, you know? And I think, like, if you have a basketball tournament, we should encourage some of the youth teams around. You know, every school has, like, even when I had a 6th grade basketball team this year, there was a lot of 6th grade basketball teams around here. I just reached out to the schools, found out who the head coach was, and asked, "Hey, can we play a game?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I had a 6th grade team that played games against local 6th grade kids. And so just by one phone call, you know, just asking, "Hey, you want to play? I got a 6th grade team for Mitchell, all Mitchell kids they're looking for games to play. Would you like to play us?" And so that's where a lot of our games came from this year, besides the 5 or 6 tournaments we went to in Sioux Falls.
Let's talk about how many kids you coach. You said 100.
I had 130 kids in football last year, and then 13 for basketball this last year.
Wow. So just shy of 150.
Yep. And we did kindergarten through 4th grade. We expanded to 4th grade for football this year, and we saw an increase in our enrollment, our registrations. We are a partner with the NFL, which is a very good thing for us because we get a lot of the benefits from the NFL, such as all the jerseys are NFL jerseys. The kids get to keep every year. We get a lot of grants from Toyota and the NFL that help out with us some of the costs for our league. And then a lot of the local businesses are willing to invest, and they help out with us a lot, which is really nice because we can keep our costs very, very low. I think actually last year was the first time we've ever charged in 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's because, of course, costs.
Everything costs a lot of money.
Yeah, this way.
But you go out and you collect donors or sponsors.
We do, but we still charge a minimum fee for the kids to play. And if you can't, we have scholarship offers that kids can do. So all you have to do is reach out to me and we can take care of the fee. But I don't think parents have a problem with paying for the league because it's run very well. It's organized, and we have huge events on Saturday mornings. And we're there from 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 every Saturday morning for 6 weeks straight. And we have a blast with the kids.
Let's talk about boring stuff, infrastructure, drainage.
That the other
Important
day,
but boring.
It's not really boring because and I don't even know who the guy was, but I did see a guy probably 2-3 days ago, or when the last rain we had heavy rain. Was it last weekend? I don't remember.
Tell me the story, Mel.
Whatever the last rain it was, he was out there with his little rake and he was cleaning out the drain so the drain could drain.
Yeah, stuff you don't hardly see. Yep.
And that was pretty nice for him to do that. But I mean, it was a pretty good puddle. I don't remember where it was at, but I think that we do need to do something to fix that.
Yeah. So maybe you don't know, but like if you walk into the engineer's office, that's like one of my number one goals is the drainage. Because right before I took office, we had that huge flood, and I had people all over fix their basements. So right in the middle of the board, there's a huge thing that says master drainage plan. We have 3 of the 4, and I think we just ordered the last study. So pretty soon we're going to have the entire plan, and then we can start going and attacking some of those.
Yeah, and that's good because we need that.
Yeah,
we need that. We really do need to because I've been here through I think 2 floods because we had that
at least
maybe 3 because we had one back in 07 I believe. Or 08,
I don't remember that one. But
I don't remember, but I know that the last time that it flooded, my basement flooded too, so that was not fun.
It's rough. It's rough. Yeah.
That was not fun at all. I was out there with rain boots and a squeegee trying to push the water to the sump pump drain. And then we had 2 sump pumps. One wasn't going and had to go buy a new one for that one and get it working. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. Luckily, there was one at, we can get one. So
what else do you want to talk about? I think we covered all the main issues everyone wants to know about. Did we miss anything?
Got any questions?
I asked you all the questions.
Any more?
I don't think I have any. I'm trying to think. Trying to think of all the hottest topics that people ask.
Any hot topic?
What do you think of a roundabout? Let's start. It's done.
The roundabout, it's getting done now, so it's over and done with. So there's no thing, but I don't mind it. I mean, they're all over now. I mean, you can go anywhere, and there you got them. If you don't know how to use it or you're confused, it can not be fun. But for the most part, if you just pay attention in it, you'll be good to go. But I mean, do I think we needed it? Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, but
that's the tough part is you look out however many years, but you don't want to look out so far that it doesn't make sense. You know? Like in 40 years, we're going to need this. Well, let's do it in 30
I think the train tracks will probably cause a lot of congestion over there.
So that's one thing.
And that's the only reason why I would have been like, I probably wouldn't have liked to have it there.
It's all, the argument is like, man, if you see it, you just go to the roundabout and turn around. You don't have to do like a U-turn or do the back up into someone's driveway.
Yeah, I can see that, but
only time will tell. I don't know.
Some people live out that way.
Yeah.
That's
I live out that way. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It wasn't me that voted for it. I don't vote. I'm just the mayor. So
that's too funny. Yeah,
I got nothing else.
You got nothing else? That's good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.